I would rather buy HBAR instead of Bitcoin, especially as of right now, even though nothing I say is financial advice, because here's the way to take a look at it. Even though it may be kind of hard to believe that when it comes to HBAR maybe outperforming Bitcoin in the next 6 to 10 months, in my opinion, it doesn't seem that illogical in a sense that what could Bitcoin really do in the next 6 to 10 months, let's say? Maybe as a best case scenario, $300,000. How is that really something too impressive? Slightly under 3x from here. It's not something that dynamic in my opinion. HBAR, on the other hand, going to the price of $3 is around a 15x from here. So just think about that. Bitcoin, in my opinion, from where it is as of right now in the next 6 to 10 months, can't do a 10x, right? I don't think it's going to reach over the price of $1 million during this bull run. This is just my perspective. So logically speaking, if I don't want to get into a micro cap, but at the same time, I don't want to get into a dinosaur, I believe that HBAR is that perfect balance in between. Just think about this. Me FOMOing into Bitcoin right now is as if I FOMOed into HBAR if the price reached $1. And I'd be like, oh yeah, time to FOMO all into HBAR because the price is going to hypothetically go to the price of $3. $1 is a great time. That wouldn't really make sense. I mean, take a look at the journey along the way. Take a look at how many hypothetical gains, again, are lost along that way, right? So it wouldn't really make sense. If I had $10 million, yeah, sure, I'd FOMO all into Bitcoin right now, but I don't have that. So then I'd much rather believe in something like HBAR. I was believing in HBAR before it even had that pump, and of course that subsequent pullback, and kind of like, that okay recovery we're seeing as of right now. I did this before all that, right? So the way you take a look at it is that if let's say HBAR hypothetically does an additional 14x from where it is as of right now, it doesn't seem too bad to me, at least in theory. Now keep in mind as well, when it comes to something like HBAR, people think that $3 is impossible. Well, I don't really think so because considering current circulating supply and market cap at that point is, or should I say would be, around $127 billion. BNB reached over $100 billion back in 2021 at a time where I felt like the factors were a lot less bullish than as of right now. So I don't think this is a tough task for something like HBAR to achieve. Not to mention, we take a look at its very passionate and amazing community, good exchange listings when it comes to HBAR. Not to mention, Hedera is unique. It's different. If we take a look at Hedera Hashgraph, it doesn't utilize traditional blockchain technology. Instead, it uses something called a directed acyclic graph, which many people consider, by the way, is a lot better than traditional blockchain technology. Typically, it's a lot faster, a lot more scalable, improved data storage, consumes less energy. So there's a lot of benefits there. It might not have the adoption, in my opinion, of like traditional blockchain technology, but it's more unique, it's more interesting. And I think during a fully fledged bull run, that type of stuff really does matter. I don't think that Hedera is bad whatsoever, but I get it. It's kind of tough sometimes only holding altcoins because a lot of my friends out there that I know that hold Bitcoin pretty much exclusively, when Bitcoin reached that all-time high, they were all in profit, right? So then they're taking a look at someone like me, taking a look at some other people I know who are only holding altcoins, and they're laughing because they're saying, yeah, some of your altcoins did good, but some other ones have done very bad. And they say, oh, take a look at the profit we're having and all this type of stuff. But again, let's see in the next 6 to 10 months. You know what I mean? As of right now, it's Bitcoin's time. I get that. But let's see in the next 6 to 10 months. There's eventually, hypothetically, going to be a fully fledged type of altcoin season, in my opinion. When will it exactly happen? Difficult to predict. We can take a look at history, right? But that's not going to be entirely accurate every single time in terms of predicting the future. It's going to happen when it's going to happen. Now, if we want to talk about a historical scenario, I'll talk about it nonetheless, even though it may not necessarily be accurate because there's no exact way to tell the future, but I'm just going to kind of talk about this, right? Because usually altcoins, as a worst case scenario, they typically peak around 18 months after a Bitcoin halving event, which based on the last Bitcoin halving event would actually mean around October this year. But again, that's pure speculation. The only thing I can control is myself, accumulating, holding, and just waiting, because the altcoin space, it's going to wake up when it wants to wake up. I can't control that, right? So then the way you take a look at it is that instead of trying to control something that I can't, I'll control myself. In a moment in time where the market really does wake up, I'm prepared for it because I was in the market and I was holding the entire time anyways. And again, I get it. These people who are holding Bitcoin, they're very happy for the most part, which I've seen, right? Because they're in profit. They're seeing a lot of people with altcoins, saying they're not doing that good when it comes to the portfolio. And I get it. A lot of my altcoins have done good, some have done very amazing, but also some have done bad, historically speaking. But there's still a lot of time here. So, in my opinion, I get it. It's Bitcoin's time again as of right now, but there's eventually going to be a moment in time when altcoins hypothetically do pick up. Imagine if that Bitcoin dominance drops and we see that altcoin season really kick into fifth gear. This could be something amazing, but of course, only time will tell. Now, when it comes to Hedera, people like to say that, oh man, it kind of sucks and all this, because I really do believe that sometimes people don't really take a look at what Hedera is really trying to do, because even when it comes to Hedera, right, it has aspects of AI in a sense that some of its use cases could be in that area. And I think this is a good thing because Hedera, traditionally speaking, really isn't considered a project that's kind of focused on that or has aspects of that in a sense. But it kind of does, in my opinion, and it's actually very amazing because you have to take a look at how traditionally these projects that typically do believe in AI within this space, right, they're using traditional blockchain technology, but when it comes to a directed acyclic graph, it just opens up more doors because, in my opinion, it's just a lot better than traditional blockchain technology. So I think that, sure, AI, it is just AI at the end of the day, right? But again, being involved with a project that is using traditional blockchain technology as opposed to a directed acyclic graph, this could maybe have more benefits. You know what I mean? This is the way you take a look at it. It's like, for instance, you give me a tennis racket. Sure, I'll play some tennis. I'm not good. But you give that exact same tennis racket to Rafael Nadal, he'd probably win a lot of games. You know what I mean? Even though it's the exact same racket. And I think it's the same analogy here, right? Like, for instance, AI using traditional blockchain technology, it could be good, but what could be better? A directed acyclic graph, in my opinion, hypothetically, something like a Hedera hash graph. But again, only time will tell. Keep in mind, the AI market is predicted to reach nearly $2 trillion by 2030, according to Grandview Research. So just imagine that. That's very massive. And I think once that hype for AI really kicks in, I think a lot of people are really going to pay attention to Hedera, even just beyond it being, cooler than traditional blockchain technology. But again, only time will tell. And I think Hedera really has some solid backing in a sense that it feels like, in terms of the governing council, it looks so impressive. Even when I first saw it, I kind of had a hard time believing it, but allegedly it is true. Like, for instance, Hedera's governing council includes the likes of Google, something like Mondelez, and Mondelez is very massive, by the way. I mean, their companies include Oreo, for instance, so that's really impressive. And of course, I'm just naming a few here, but it's very amazing. Also, not to mention something like LG, but again, I think you get the point here. It's very fantastic, right? So when it comes to Hedera, it really something that doesn't disappoint me, in my opinion. And if someone said, hey, would you rather buy Bitcoin or HBAR as of right now, hands down, it's going to have to be HBAR. And make sure to subscribe if you gain value from this video. I'd greatly appreciate it. It's only the captain, and I'll catch you all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.